Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to That Paradox Gaming. So we're here to take a look at my wither farm. Now this is updated since my last video on my 1.7 base. Now you guys all made it very clear to me that you want ComputerCraft. That is why you are here, so I am here to deliver. So in this video, basically I've upgraded the turtles and stuff in for the wither farm. They're using a lot of funky stuff, some stuff you might not expect, and it's come out, well, actually quite good. I'm very happy with how this is all looking. So, I added an on-off switch, which is in itself not that exciting. That monitor is actually being a little finicky. So now, yes, this is the wither farm in action. Now, give me a minute to just explain how the wither farm works for anyone who's not familiar with it. And then I'll get into the ComputerCraft stuff, which I know is why you're all here. But I'm actually using GPS. I am using GPS. It's something I have not dealt with on my channel before. So here we can see these are Tesla coils killing withers, which are trapped inside a septuple compressed cobblestone prison. And and the withers are being built by turtles. I'll turn this off. That monitor. Just gotta figure out why that it's not being heaps responsive. It's not ideal. Let's come down. Let's come down here and just check out these withers being killed. See it all up close. I'm liking this. Oh yeah. Okay. Here we go. So yeah, as you can see, they're taking a lot of damage. Look how quickly these Tesla coils take them down. Unfortunately, the Tesla coils are using a metric ton of power. I'll show you how I'm powering those. Okay, so here we have a Tesla coil. Now this block in the center here, with the little circle on it, that's the industrial Tesla coil. This is from the Advanced Repulsion Systems mod. Really good mod, similar to modular force fields. In fact, I think they're both kind of developed from the same mod. It's a long story. But okay, so here we have the Tesla coil itself. It requires a lot of blocks. Attached to it, running up the center of this pillar, all these upgrade blocks. And then attached to the upgrade blocks are all the upgrades themselves. In this case, I'm just using the speed upgrades. There are range upgrades and other things. And yeah, then attached to the Tesla coil itself, we've obviously got power coming from this Tesseract. Sorry. This is a programmable filter, which lets you choose what you're actually going to attack. By default, the Tesla coil will attack everything, even you. But if you put these tokens in, so here we've got a mob detector and an item detector. This means it's going to attack mobs. It's also going to attack and destroy items. Why do you want that, I hear you ask? Well, if I attach a loot collector, this block here, we can say pick up nether stars. So it has to attack the nether star to pick it up. So it doesn't damage it, and then that gets thrown into this ender chest, which is going out to, I'm using the nether stars to power 8 times nether star generator, which outputs about 340,000 RF a tick, or something ridiculous like that. Now, to power the Tesla coils themselves, I'm using this setup. This room's dedicated to the power for just the Tesla coils. It's 3 of these heated redstone generators. These are actually 64 times heated redstone generators. They output 5,000 RF a tick each. They require a hell of a lot of destabilized redstone, which we can see all these magma crucibles creating. Now, these just by themselves actually will only power the Tesla coils for about 10 minutes, and then they start to have a bit of a power drop off. So these themselves actually aren't enough to power the Tesla coils. I'm going to install a 4th one at some point. But at the moment, just to get that extra little kick of power, I'm using some of the power from the nether stars to just supplement that small drop off. So the wither farm can run constantly forever at the moment. So this is the 8x nether star generator. So this is the nether stars go into this ender chest and then get put into this nether star generator. So this runs for about 14 seconds off each nether star, and it gets 340,000 RF per tick. It's just crazy. So work out how much power that is. This ugly capacitor bank, it's still, it needs to be bigger basically, because at the moment it can only accept 150,000 RF, and this thing's putting out more than twice that. So yeah, So I've got to upgrade it a bit, make it more than twice as big. Yeah, so it can take all the power. Cool. So that's pretty much how that all works. So I hope that all makes sense. Um, that bit isn't too complicated, but now let's get into the turtles because that's where it's exciting. I've got the volume turned right down in game if you're not really hearing things, and if that's annoying you, it's just the withers blowing up. Very, very distracting. So, wow, check out all this. What's all this I hear you say? Well, to start off, this is just a little applied energistics system. This feeds all the ingredients to build the withers. So there's some fuel, and then there's the wither skulls and the soul sand. And those are getting put via the applied energistics network, just a tiny little AE network, through an export bus even into the turtle. So here we can see it's getting its soul sand, the wither skeleton skulls, coal, and I've put a piece of septuple compressed cobblestone in there, just so when the turtle goes and breaks this to go inside and build the wither, it's got a place to put that. Now, all this stuff doesn't matter. You could just put cobblestone in there if you wanted to. I don't know, I'm producing a lot of this stuff, so I don't really care that some of it's being wasted. Cool. All right, so now let's get into the crazy, crazy stuff. What is this bizarre looking structure with the computers? This is actually a GPS positioning system, a global positioning system. Now, GPS is not something I've dealt with on my channel before, but each of these is running a GPS program. So let me just, I'll kill this guy and we can just take a quick look at it. Now, what you need is 4 of these arranged. Well, you don't necessarily need them arranged like this, but apparently this is the best way to get the highest accuracy. So there you go. This setup with them configured like this will give you the best accuracy on finding where things are in the world. I'll show you how that all works. So I'll edit startup. Here we go. So at the moment we're doing shell.run. Shell.run, for those of you who are familiar, will just run any program on the computer. So you can shell.run, snake, or you can, shell.run any of the programs. So this is a program name, and then you just give any of the parameters for the program. So we're doing GPS, we want this to be a host, and then we give it the coordinate, its actual coordinates in the world. We give it the computer's actual coordinates. So to get that, you can just stand on top of the computer like such, and then just take 2 away from the Y coordinate. So you can see here, it just did 10 instead of 12, because the map here just shows you the height, the position of your head, and that's 2 below. So that's a good way of getting your coordinates. Nice. Why do you need 4 of these? Basically, they just need to triangulate the distances, but that's all done automatically, so you don't have to do any of that. All you gotta do is set these up like this, and it will do all the calculations and everything for you. Cool. So here we go. It's running. It's opened up the modem all by itself, and it's shown us what its coordinates are in the world. Very nice. Okay, so why the hell do I need a global positioning system to run some turtles? That's a valid question, viewer. Well, what I need to do is these turtles, basically, say the server restarts and the turtle is sitting inside of this septuple compressed cobblestone prison. Well, the server restarts, it's inside. The turtle is just going to run startup, its default program, and it'll just take it from the beginning. It's not going to remember where it is in the world or anything. So if it's sitting in there, its instructions would be go forward like 2 blocks, break a block, go forward another couple of blocks, and build a wither, which could very easily take it outside of the prison and start building a wither here somewhere. And then I'd have a wither outside of its cage flying around, blowing up my shiz, which is not something we want. Now, to combat this, originally my low-tech solution was just to have a redstone clock here. This just puts out a redstone signal every second or so, and I just make when the turtle starts up, I'd make it check for a redstone signal. If it didn't get one, that means it's not here. And it would just not run the program. But that means we stop producing power. We stop producing nether stars. We stop producing power. I might not be online. I can't turn it back on. Everything stops working. Just disaster. So what I've created is a program using GPS where the turtle can find its way back home. So let's just tell the turtle to go forward. Yeah, let's say go down like 3 blocks. Go forward again, turn left, and go forward one more time. Okay. Now it's turned around, so let's go that way, and go forward. Okay, so the turtle's now in a pretty random position, yes? Well, if I run startup, look at this. He's figuring out where he is, and he's found his way back home. What a little champ. So that's all done automatically. He can get from any position, should be able to get back home. Unless, possibly if he's ended up above here or anywhere backwards of here, probably not. But there's no reason he would do that. So, yeah, if he's anywhere over here, he'll be able to find his way back. So I guess we probably need to start looking into the code. Now, guys, you know, this code is pretty full on. I'm going to do my best to explain it, but yeah, it's a lot of code. Let's see how we go. Okay, so here we've got Lab Rat, and actually I might just get him to go forward. Oops. Nice. So let's just take a look at test. So this is the turtle I used to just develop this program. I ran a lot of testing on him. So this is one of the early iterations of the script. And I'm just going to use it to demonstrate this function, compass. Now the first thing I need to figure out was how do I get the turtle to figure out what direction it's facing? Because you can't just tell the turtle to move on the x-axis or whatever. You got to be able to say, turtle, turn in that direction, and then travel in that direction. So basically what I came up with is the turtle will get its position, then it will move forward, and then it will use its GPS to get its position again. And what that's going to say is, okay, I've figured out I have moved on this axis, which means I must be facing this direction. So I've traveled, if we look at the mini map, let's just say you look there, you see it. So let's say I've traveled, okay, I'm losing numbers on the x-axis. That must mean I'm facing east. Or if I'm losing numbers on the z-axis, I'm facing north. Yeah, does that make sense? Okay. Let's go through actually how that script works. So here, ignore these coordinates. This I've programmed in a home face. So this is the direction we want the turtle to be facing, but we'll get to that. That'll make sense soon, I hope. So here's the function. First off, we get the coordinates of its current location. Then we're going to get the turtle to move forward. Now, this little while loop is just in case it's facing something and it can't move forward. It's just going to turn right. So it's going to execute turtle.forward, but if that returns false, which means it didn't actually move, it'll turn right, and as long as it keeps getting false, it'll keep trying to turn right and move forward. Easy. Then once it's moved forward, we're going to get our location again. So that's so we've got X, Y, Z, and X1, Y1, Z1. Then what we're going to do is, I'm just creating a table here. So this is how you make a table for those of you unfamiliar. And what we're going to do is we're going to minus X from X1. So that's its X from its original position and X from its second position. Now, if it hasn't moved on that axis at all, that would just return 0. But if it has moved on that axis, then we'll either get 1 or -1, because we're minusing the number away from it. It'll either be a +1 or a -1. Nice. So that's basically, so it's going to get X, Y, and Z if any of those. Y actually doesn't matter in this equation. I could leave that out, but it doesn't matter. Nice. So then we're going to read the table direction, so that table that we made, which has all of our displacements. So that's probably just going to be like 1, 0, 0, or negative 1, 0, 0, whatever. And here we go. So we're gonna see in this for loop. Basically, what we're doing is we're checking if x is equal to 1, then we know that the turtle's facing west because it's moved on which direction? So which way is west? West. I've got a mini map for that. I didn't really need to bring that up. Okay, so yeah, so it's facing west. So that's west that way. So we know it's moved one block in this direction. Um, yeah, and so I've got basically all of those. So we can get on each axis, if the numbers increased or decreased on any of these axes, we know, so if it's 1 or negative 1, we know it's moved either west or east. Or if z is equal to 1 or negative 1, we know it's moved either north or south. It's kind of cool. Now, something else to notice here is this is actually not part of the code. These little minus signs mean it's not part of the code. I just put that in there so I could easily reference east, west, north, and south. So what's actually happening is we're going to assign the variable facing a number. And if you actually look up here, you can see how that says 0 south. That means I'm facing south, or 3 east. So I've actually assigned these numbers the same as the way Minecraft assigns numbers for your direction, just to keep it easy, but also just so I can do some maths, which you'll see in a second. So yeah, basically that is just that compass function. Now, there's another piece of code. Actually, let's just see this one in action. Oh, actually, no. Okay, I better just explain this here. This is written up better in. This is actually all this text here in the turtles down there. This is actually a function of its own, which will I'll show you. But here we've got this bit is now getting the turtle to actually turn in the direction we want. So at the top of the script, remember we saw home face and we said that equaled 1. So this is the direction we want it to face, 1 being west, as you can see up there, right? So we've given it the direction we want it to face. So by saying 1, we're saying we want you to face west. And what this is going to do is it's going to check if up in this function here, we got facing. So let's just say it turns out the turtle's facing south, and we've got 0. Well, what it's going to do is minus 0 from 1, which will, of course, give you just 1, which lets it know how many blocks it needs to turn. Does that make sense? So say we're facing south here, right? If we get, we minus 1 from 0, which leaves 1, because, yeah. But that means it now knows it needs to turn 1 block. Or let's say, and yeah, just keep your eye up on here. I'll go somewhere you can see that. So say we're facing north, right, which is 2, and we minus 1 for west from 2 for north, and it knows it needs to turn 1 to turn west. Now, you also get like positives and negatives, which lets it know how many blocks, which direction it needs to turn, right or left. So say we minus, say we're facing east, we might be facing west. No, that doesn't work. Whatever. Anyway, I'll show it to you here. It's gonna make more sense. Basically, if it's less than 0, which means if we've minus and we've generated a negative number, then we know that we need to turn right. Does that make sense? But if it's the other thing, we know we need to turn up. Actually, no, this one's set up only to turn right. Okay. Really? That's current, turn left. Oh, right. Otherwise, we know we need to turn left, actually. I don't even have to do comparator because it's only going to be left or right. So if it's less than, we need to turn right. And this one is if it's more than, but it's just an else because we can only generate else. So this is if it's a positive number, the turtle needs to turn left. So I hope that made sense. Like I said, guys, this this script is kind of hard to explain at times. So here we see it in action. So he moved forward, figured out what direction he was facing, minus those to get a how far he needed to turn, and then turned. Pretty cool. Nice. So I hope that all made sense, guys. All right, now let's go have a look at the actual turtles, these guys, and see how they're moving around and stuff. All right, so let's take a look at George. So we'll edit startup. Cool. Okay, so we're opening up the red net. So here we've got its home coordinates. So we've got the X, Y, and Z. So this is exactly where it is right now. That is the home space, the home coordinates, right? So I've got that programmed in there, and we've also got the direction we want it to be facing, which is home face. So if I face this way, you can see up there 3 east. Easy. Nice. So 3 for east. Nice. Now this is Compass, which is the exact same program we were just looking at. This might be slightly modified, but it's pretty much the same deal. Now we've got the function to go home. So this function actually is what gets a turtle to figure out where it is in the world and then come back to where we want. But I might just skip by this real quickly because that last bit of code, God, that's a long function. Should I break that up? So that last bit of code which I showed up there, which was what got the turtle to actually turn. So that was the minusing one for west from 2 for north or whatever. So that last bit is actually turned into a function here, which is the function turn to. So this is saying turn in a certain direction. So here we can see what we're actually doing is giving this function a parameter of int. So whenever we call this function, we've got to give it this parameter, which is the direction we want the turtle to end up in. So if where it's currently facing is not equal to where we want it to be facing, then it's going to minus those from each other, and then it's going to do that thing where it then says, okay, so that minus that gave me 3 or whatever. So yeah, 3 minus whatever int is, let's say 2 equals 1, so I need to turn right 1. Something like that, yep. So yeah, that is just how we're getting it to turn. Fairly simple. So let's get into how the turtle's actually going to be traveling around the place. Oh, it's a big function. Okay, so what have we got? So this is going home. So what it's going to do is, first thing is it's going to get its current coordinates via gps.locate. Oh, I didn't explain this earlier, but gps.locate just gives you back the 3. It's a table that just returns your x coordinate, your y coordinate, and your z coordinate. So the turtle's literally pinging these computers, which is then saying, okay, this is your distance and everything. This is where you are in the world. Very powerful, very cool. So we want it to ignore these prints. They were just, for debugging and stuff. So first thing we're doing is we're going to minus our current location, XL, on the x-axis from the home location. So if the turtle's not exactly where it's supposed to be, well, if the turtle is where it is right now, that would just return 0. So cool, we don't need to move on the x-axis. Same goes for y and z. But let's just say the turtle has come forward 1 block, so it's like here, which means that's traveling negatives on the x-axis, right? So that means we'd actually get -1 on that, which means the turtle now knows, hey, I'm kind of far away from where I need to be. So yeah, it just does that on all of these. So now we're going to check if y is greater than 0. So we do the y-axis first, which is up and down. Okay, so the turtle, let's just say the turtle has a number there. After we've subtracted our current location from our home location, let's just say that returns 1, well then the turtle knows it's 1 block higher than it's supposed to be, so it executes a turtle dot down. But let's say it's at -1. Well, this way the turtle now knows, well, y is 1 lower than it needs to be, so I need to go up. So we've now adjusted for the correct position on the x-axis. Now, on the y-axis. Now the y-axis is very easy. It's much easier than the Z and X because you just got to go up and down. But on Z and X, we've got to get the turtle to turn to move on that axis. It's not just go up and down. We've got to say turn right, then go forward. So it gets a bit more complicated here, which is where we used the compass, all those other functions, all the stuff which I showed you up on there to figure out which way the turtle's currently facing, and then to get to face the right direction. So that was compass and turn 2. So here we can see, let's just do this one on the z-axis as an example. So if on the z-axis it's less than 0, so we'll say we're -1 on the z-axis, which let's just say that would mean that we're like here. Well, not directly here, but one right of the turtle, so anywhere along here. Well, now the turtle knows. The turtle knows that it's off, so that's always a plus. So it can run the compass, and it's going to figure out what way it's facing. Now, if it's not facing 0, so we need it to face this way. I hope that's right. Yeah, we need it to be facing south to move to correct itself on the z-axis like this. So if the turtle's not facing south, it's going to use that turn 2 function that I just showed you before, and it's saying we need you to turn to 0. Cool, easy. Then what it's going to do is it's going to do a turtle.forward. So it's going to face 0. It's then going to move 0, and bam, it's corrected itself. Now this is just here in case it's inside the compressed cobblestone prison and it needs to dig its way out, or if there's anything in its way. Basically what the turtle's going to do is it's going to try and dig the block. It's going to select 4 because I'm assuming that it's going to be subtuple compressed cobblestone. That's going to be in its way. So it's going to dig, it's going to move forward, it's going to turn around, it's going to put the block back where it was, it's going to turn around again and then continue on its merry way. And basically, guys, it's the same thing for if z is greater, then it's the exact same code for x. I could have just made this a function probably because I just pretty much copied and pasted this. So it's literally the same thing for x and z if it's greater than or less than. It just it just does the exact same thing. So that is that function. Nice. So let's just quickly have a look at how the code runs, and then we're done. We're almost there, guys. I hope this is making sense. So this is really what the program does. The first thing it does is it runs go home, which means it's going to find out where it currently is. And if it's not where it's supposed to be, it'll go home. And then once it gets there, it's going to turn to, so it's just going to go to home face, which is the direction we want it facing. So as we can see here, home face would have been set to 3 because that's east. Yeah. So it's going to turn to where we want it to face. Nice. Then the first thing it's going to look for is a rednet event. That completed says rednet _ message. So we're looking for an event, a rednet event, which is this. So that's the on-off switch. Yeah. So yes, that's the on-off switch right there. And while that's off, it's not doing anything. But while it's on, it's going to be constantly transmitting a rednet message to tell the turtles to move. So we're looking for that rednet message so we've got the event is rednet message. The first parameter is the the computer ID, and the third bit of information here, or parameter 2, is the message. In this case, the message that is being sent from that computer up there is true, and its ID is 3. So we're just looking for those things. Once we get those things, the turtle now knows it's okay to go. So we're just going to double check that we're at home in case anything's gone wrong at any point. We're just going to make sure we're in the right position, and we're also going to make sure we're facing the right way. Yeah. So if we're not facing the right way, we're just going to face to it. Nice. It needs to sleep for a second because RedNet's just throwing something out there, which means I can't wait for an event. So what we're now looking for is a pull event of redstone, which is just the final sail face. The the final failsafe measure, which is this redstone clock, which I explained earlier. So it's just looking for a redstone signal just to make sure it's in the right place, because we don't want to be building withers anywhere else. And if that's true, then it's going to do all of this stuff, and all of this is just the directions to build the wither, which we don't need to go into. It's just a whole bunch of turtle commands saying this is how you build a wither, and then come back. So that's fairly simple. And then, guys, that's it. We did it! Nice. Okay, well, look, I hope that all made sense, and I hope it's been informational, informative, and entertaining. I hope we've had some genuine infotainment going on right here. Nice. Okay, well, I'm just going to move this guy one more time so you can see them just doing their thing. Go forward and go up 3. Nice. And we'll just run startup just so you can see that all that stuff in action. So you can see he goes down, and then see how he went forward there? Well, that's him figuring out what way he's facing. So that's what the random moving forwards and stuff is. For some reason, he hasn't run home face. Doesn't matter. As soon as he gets the message from the rednet message from up there, he's going to make sure he's facing the right direction before he does anything. Or if he hasn't, this could get amusing. Let's find out. I really got to figure out why that monitor's not being... Yeah, look at that. He turned, he moved forward, he figured out exactly where it was supposed to be. So that all worked fine. And here they go. Away they go. So this is the Wither Farm in action, guys. It produces a butt ton of power. It uses some cool stuff. My friends, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. I hope you have enjoyed. Please do hit me up in the comments if you've got any questions, any suggestions, anything you'd like me to do, see, improve, etc. Hit me up on Facebook, hit me up on Twitter. Yeah. Otherwise, guys, I'll try and get the scripts for this up on Pastebin, and yeah. Good times. Alright, guys, well, I have been That Paradox. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Cheers.